Hello everybody and welcome to JR Jeep. I hope you're all well. Tonight we're going to have talk about something near and dear to many of our hearts, next to our Jeeps that is, of course, that of tools. We all buy and use tools to maintain, modify, and in some cases enhance our Jeep's abilities. And so I'm going to talk about my journey with those tools over the last about 2.5 years. A little backstory prior to that, and prior to getting my Jeep about 3 years ago. Yes, I did work on vehicles when I was much younger. Not so much in my later years, but in the time I was younger, I did buy a lot of tools. At that time, it was more budgetary friendly kind of stuff because I didn't have a lot of excess money to spend on that. Definitely didn't have the money for a lot of air tools at that time, which was the popular aspect, not electronic tools that they are now. As I got older, I did buy some electronic tools as needed. Here is where the rub is, so to speak. So when I buy tools, I buy it for a specific need at the time, thinking that would take care of everything I needed and go from there, which was nice. But the facet of that was generally you're buying something that you should have maybe thought about a little bit more in relationship to the family of tools, so to speak. So my case in point being my first good electronic tool was a DeWalt. I bought a number of years ago. This is their small impact driver. Great tool. I bought this in 2013. This thing is still going strong, works fantastic. I probably used it harder than it should have been used in many cases, and it's held up fine. That said, I don't have any other tools in the DeWalt lineup. So while I've used this for a number of years and will continue to use it until it probably goes out, I'm probably not going to buy any more versions of it. Number one, I don't know what the battery packs and that have changed on it. Not sure, I've not looked into that. But I had looked at their tools on and off over the last couple of years when I've stopped at, say, Home Depots or Lowe's, see what's out there. And yes, once in a while you can do good with deals and sales on that. A little outside the cost point I wanted to spend. So this leads down the junction of where I've gone. So one of the first tools I needed in relation to my Jeep was going to be a heavier duty impact gun. That specifically was going to be a 1/2 inch. I picked this up at Harbor Freight. It has worked fantastic. It is really high torque. Done the job of anything I needed it to do. And the only suggestion I say is use the higher end batteries with it, which their batteries are usable on any of the Bauer tools, which is case in point important. Not saying they aren't in the DeWalt and Milwaukee, but we'll discuss that in a moment. This has held up really well, and what the benefits with Harbor Freight tools is the fact that a lot of times you can go in, if you're a subscriber to them for their email or your card holder for them, you can get deals on their stuff. Like I get cash back after my purchases. They also run lots of deals every month, every week. One of their major tool deals is basically buy a battery, get an electronic tool for virtually nothing or close to nothing. That was the case in point with this. It's basically I got the tool virtually for nothing for the cost of the battery. Other tools that have run into that, because I like the 1/2 inch so much, I decided I did need a 3/8 because we don't always use the bigger ones. I need something in tighter, close quarters. So the 3/8 I got. Again, case in point, battery, tool was free. Another one like that was a drill. I hadn't really anticipated buying electronic drill, to tell you the truth. My whole sole reason for it was the facet of, you've maybe seen them, there's a lot of companies or a few companies that make those brushes that are attachable to drills or impact drivers that are usable for cleaning various things like grout, tile, cement, whatever. That's why I got this for. It was basically, I got a brush set from one place and I needed this tool. Again, the tool, I bought the battery, tool was free. Other things this has led to, because we can't always get in with a bigger tool in some of the areas we need to. Some of the cases and points of that is basically like I was doing bumper removal on the Jeep to replace them. I might have to use a breaker bar, but then I could get in with this 1/2-inch ratchet and basically get off no problem. That was really a godsend in relation to doing some of the things that require in tight corners. So some of the other things this has led to is the facet of I had a vacuum that I used to clean up my Jeep. It was one of those old dust busters. You may remember them. I had that tool for quite a while. The canister latch busted. I was holding it on with duct tape, and then the battery was going sort of bad on. It wouldn't hold up that much. So I was looking around Harbor Freight, and sure enough, they had one. Uses the same battery. Comes with a bunch of attachments. So this virtually costs nothing with the deals through them. And lastly, a chainsaw. Why? Because I overland, and something to cut down small branches or trees in the trail that might be in the way would be handy. Nice thing, again, this was virtually free with watching for sales and that. It does come with some bar oil. I did pick up a smaller, another one besides. So, this video is not to showcase that I am in love with Harbor Freight. This was to show that the unity of the products in relation to their lineup, I think, is important when we're thinking about outfitting our garage. Not saying DeWalt wouldn't do it, or a Milwaukee Tool for that matter. The one thing I've noted with Milwaukee Tool is they have a lot of different size batteries for different tools. I think that goes more along the consumer or professional lineup, which is somewhat a little bit disconcerting. I mean, wouldn't you just make a tool that's good for everything? But I get budgetary concerns, but that's why I went with this lineup instead of possibly Milwaukee Tool. Not bashing Milwaukee Tool or DeWalt. I've seen a lot of mechanics use them because they hold up, they beat them every day, and they're happy with the tool. So in that case, definitely a good way to go. But for us, Armchair Mechanics, so to speak, we're doing this on and off, maybe not all the time. We need it for our upgrades, need it on the trails. This has worked out really well for me, and their other hand tools have been good options as well. Just watch for those deals. I know once in a while there is pushback a lot of times on the web, feedback that their tools aren't that good. I've read through some of that myself too, just before doing this video, and a lot of it tends to be around specific equipment that's specialized for certain things, which I understand. Yeah, it's a lower cost item that you're maybe using it, that higher cost item would have been significantly more to do. Not saying that shouldn't have stood up to it, but maybe it's not something that's good for repetitive use. Maybe it just doesn't have the durability factor built in. When I'm talking about these tools, though, too, I'm taking into account a good friend of mine who does home improvement, repair, engine repair. He's a jack of all trades, so to speak. He does his own remodels of his apartments and stuff, and buildings he owns to lease out. And he has spoken very highly of these tools. That's what sort of put me on them as well. I was taking some feedback from him because, number one, this tool goes bad, I got nothing invested in it. All I got to do is watch for a deal. Maybe I have to buy another battery again. Battery isn't going to go to waste, and I can get another tool. So, something good to consider. I want to thank you for all stopping by today and listening to me. I hope you found this beneficial. The weather in our area has been very nice for a fall. I mean, I can't knock that we have 80 degrees in Wisconsin in late October. My heart goes out, though, to those in the south and areas in the east that have been affected by the hurricanes and the major storms. My hopeful wish is that you and your families are all safe and that you're able to rebuild your lives and gain the support you need. I hope, again, you found this beneficial. If you did, please give a thumbs up and consider following the channel. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye. Oh, one other thing I just wanted to add, just in case anybody's wondering. No, I am not a rep for Harbor Freight. This was of my own accord, just my experiences. So please don't think this is a soliciting video in relation to that tool company. It's just the experience I've had. So again, hope you find it helpful. Bye.